What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's doing well. We've had some beautiful expansion today, not quite the direction that we were anticipating based off yesterday's video, but nothing to be afraid of. We simply adapt and continue to excel. So as you can see, we're very bearish right now on dollar. Finally though, it's nice to see some movement. I feel like the charts are loosening up a little bit for the year. We've been held in consolidation quite a bit over the past over the Monday and January and February, but yeah, let's get straight into it. So we're trading very aggressively lower towards this bullish order block right here, and there is actually a very slight imbalance over here that I want to quickly bring our attention to. Very small, but when we drop down to a lower time frame, you'll see that there is, I think, a daily fair value gap below there as well, but there is a small imbalance right there that price is definitely going to want to draw into. So let's go to the daily, and you'll see that we gapped lower and traded aggressively lower, and you can see we're running down into this daily fair value gap. It's not even a fair value gap, sorry, it is a liquidity void, because it is void of any kind of trading whatsoever. So if you remember in yesterday's video, I did state that if we go lower than this low, then I'd be looking for this to get traded to, and that's exactly what we're witnessing happening here. Now, don't get me wrong, I was anticipating us to react to the 4-hour bullish order block that is right here, and I'll show you that when we drop to the 4-hour. But the fact that we traded through this said to me, okay, now let's start looking for this low, and we can potentially start looking at this consolidation and how price is going to make its way through that. But considering we only have Friday tomorrow with non-farm payroll, we still need to be quite wary. And when I say that, I mean that we could always still get a Friday reversal, which is crazy to think. But moving into tomorrow, I want to see us trade into this liquidity void, and I just want to see us fill it, to be honest. I'm not really sure. Let's go to the 4-hour. Again, this was that bullish order block I was speaking about. You can just drag that out like so, delineate that here. And I was saying when price trades to that, I'm going to be watching, does it provide support? And clearly not. We traded right through it. It's not stopping for nobody, and we're going down into that imbalance, which is nice to see. So let's drop down to the 1-hour, and you'll see our price has just been continuously falling. You can see how it made its way through that order block and left it. So yeah, I'm just watching to see what happens when we get to this imbalance. Are we going to fill it? If we do fill it, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some kind of retracement off of it to trade higher. The reason for that is because we've been bearish all week. So right from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we've been bearish, right? So if, say, price does continue through this level, the next target will be these lows more than likely, in this imbalance right here. And it does seem like a stretch for price. I doubt it's done most of its moving on Wednesday and Thursday, which is why I'd like to think that Friday would get some kind of reversal, especially with non-farm payroll. But yeah, in terms of probability and things, it is much lower because it's not in line with what I originally wanted to see, which is not ideal. But generally speaking, not really much to look at. I'm just going to see how do we trade in this. If we see some kind of reversal forming, so we get a large strong reaction off of this imbalance, the liquidity void, sorry, if we get a large reaction away from it, I'd simply start looking for longs into this range with the potential to reach up here. If price, say, trades through it, and we find resistance at it, so it continues to trade lower, so be it. And if that's the case, I'd start looking for lower fair value gaps to get traded to, and potential lows below here where there's relative equal lows. It's really as simple as that. Like I said, Friday being the last trading day of the week, I doubt it's going to continue this heavily. It's been very, very heavy. So yeah, I doubt it's going to reach it. Don't get me wrong, we do have a clear weekly order block, fair value gap right here, and price will likely want to start aiming for that next week or moving into later March in general, which is why I was thinking we're likely going to react here. Also, there is this bullish order block. That's another thing to take note of. The fact that we have a bullish order block here, we should anticipate some kind of resistance anyway. So that's another reason I would like to think that price will just slow down as it finally reaches that liquidity void that we're seeing right here. But you never know, price could react strongly, and we could, zip right up back through the week, especially with non-farm payroll. But yeah, just something to be wary of. Another thing I want to bring our attention to is gold. Now, I did see gold has been rallying crazy, and I haven't been really following gold too much. But if we go to the weekly, you'll see that even last week gold was traded aggressively higher, and then we had a continuation this week. I didn't think to look at gold as I was looking at dollar. I probably should have, but the way we're seeing gold rally, it's no surprise that dollar is showing this heavy weakness this week. So that is definitely something to take note of, and something I'll probably be considering as we move into the next few weeks. But overall, what am I expecting? I'd just like to see us fill in this liquidity void. Again, I'm watching to see how price reacts, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some kind of bullish action, price action, to give us some kind of retracement back into these levels here, considering it's the end of the week. But we'll have to wait and see where price is at 8:30. For example, if price is still in this liquidity void at 8:30, then I'd anticipate some kind of reversal to trade higher. But if we traded through it by then I wouldn't be surprised if price wanted to reach deeper. But yeah, it's all just a waiting game really. Let's go to GBP USD. We'll start on the weekly, and of course with dollar falling so heavily lower, what do we see on GBP? We see us rallying higher. Now we have traded into these relative equal highs. I did mention them once or twice, so we're just about to trade through those. Those are likely going to get traded to, and now I am watching this bearish order block right here on the weekly that we're clearly about to trade into. Specifically, I'm looking at the 50% level of this wick as well as potential target, so I'm going to get all of these things marked out, and I'd also be looking at the midpoint of this bearish order block in general. So I'm going to mark out the midpoint of this bearish order block just because that's what we call mean threshold. Mean threshold is the midpoint of order blocks, and I'd like to think that price could potentially trade up to that. And then we also have mean threshold of this wick as well, but because it's a wick, we call it consequent encroachment. So these are two potential levels for price if we're going to continue as bullishly as we've seen price trading. And then we also have this buy side liquidity residing above this high, and these highs. So there is relative equal highs up here that are likely going to want to get targeted before we see some kind of reaction lower. So let's just drop down to the daily, and you can see very expansive day running right up towards those lows, highs. Here's the relative equal highs here and here, and as I was saying, price may want to run those stops to trade higher. And then we have a daily bearish order block at that 50% level as well. So price very well may just trade into that. This is the consequent encroachment from the weekly, right? So price may reach up to that if we continue with this heavy bullishness. If that's the case, that's fine. I can mark out the low of this bearish order block. I'll just show you on the daily bearish order block. I'll mark out the low, and price should react bullishly to that, since that is a daily level. So I'll get that marked out in black, and I'm just going to type bearish daily order block, and I'll put that on the right in the center. We know that this is the weekly consequent encroachment, and we'll put that on the right in the center, in the middle. And then we know that this is the buy side liquidity, because those are where the relative equal highs are residing. So now that we've got those targets marked out, in terms of downside, remember, we're likely, if we're going to trade higher, price is going to need to pull back to some degree. We can look at this high here, because this up candle should now act as a breaker. Why? We have a low, a high, a low, low, and then price breaks lower. Now I'm looking at this high because volume closed the highest here. Yes, this wicks higher, but volume is closing the highest. So this is the most significant swing high. So I want to get this drawn out like so, and price may want to draw down to this. Now I doubt it's going to happen on Friday, but this level moving into the new week will likely be significant, and I'll talk more on that in Sunday before we go into the new week. But let's go to the 4 hour. Again, you can see that level lines up with that order block, which should now act bullishly. We have a fair value gap here that we may be able to draw into, but generally speaking, just as we're expecting dollar to trade deeper into this liquidity void, we want to see if GBP can reach into this buy side liquidity and potentially that daily bearish order block. In which case, once we do get a reversal, then I'll start looking at this fair value gap to get traded to, and then I'll start thinking about this swing high to be a point that price may want to trade to. There is no imbalance though on the 4 hour here, which is very clear. We have an imbalance here at the weekly consequent encroachment, so price may want to reach up to that, but again, it really depends how bullish pound is. So tomorrow's going to be interesting to say the least. Let's go to the 1 hour. Price has been continuously making its way up. Remember, the buy side liquidity is up here, so again, since we're at the end of the day now, price will likely retrace, but I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a classic setup on London just to push us through that buy side liquidity before we see any kind of pullback. So I'm going to bring our attention to this order to this fair value gap, and that's because there is a bullish order block here. I'd like to see this provide support into the buy side liquidity. I'll say that again. So we have a bullish order block here. If price manages to come back down here, I'd like to think that this will provide enough support to send us into the buy side liquidity. Why? Price shouldn't need to come all the way down here yet. It will come here later. So I'm watching this fair value gap, specifically this bullish order block. So we'll see how price treats that. in the new day. Again, that might create the low of tomorrow maybe, to trade higher. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, it really depends where price is for non-farm payroll. So at, like I said, 8 o'clock, I'll probably be in the charts. Make sure to join the Discord because I'll be happy to talk live there. But I'm going to be waiting. I'll be looking to see where price is. Excuse me. I'll be looking to see where price is at 8:30. If we're again above the buy side liquidity and we're getting some kind of bullish reaction on dollar, then I'll start thinking about shorts to trade lower. So yeah, very interesting days. Let's go to euro to finish off as per usual. We'll start on the weekly. Now euro's rallying again into this bearish order block on the weekly. There is an imbalance right here, fair value gap, so price is going to want to draw to that. Again, is it going to do it this week? Probably not. It's probably not going to do that this week. We do have 50% of this wick which may get traded to. That is something to consider. Consequent encroachment, so we'll get that marked out in red. And then we can go to the daily and you'll see price has closed above this swing high, which is significant to me for us then to move higher and again start trading up towards these levels. Now it depends how bullish price is. I doubt Friday is going to reach up there. It can do it, especially with non-farm payroll. I don't want to be too specific purely because I'm not too confident right now, but one thing to take note of, there is a inversion fair value gap now. So this was a fair value gap on the downside. We traded through it and closed on the upside. So when price comes back down to this level, we can anticipate support to be found there. Let's go to the 4 hour, see if we can see anything. Again, very consolidated price action. So if price is going to go anywhere, it will go above it to the fair value gap that we marked out on the weekly. It will likely go there, and like I said, it depends if price has the power to do that tomorrow, but I wouldn't put it past it. I would not be the slightest bit surprised. So that's what I'm looking at this level. If we come down here and we get a nice bullish reaction off of it, we can start looking for longs, in which case I'd target there. But yeah, sorry guys, this video hasn't been very specific. You can see again, bullish order block. I'd like to think it provides support moving into the new day. So specifically, I'm watching this level tomorrow. How are we treating that? Do we want more bullish price action, or are we going to start pulling back into the range? And it depends where we are at 8 o'clock running into 8:30, where we have non-farm payroll. So yeah, that's going to be everything, guys. I hope that was insightful. I hope that made sense. Crazy day today. And yeah, let's keep moving. Don't forget to join the Discord. Don't forget to smash subscribe. Don't forget to hit like as well. And I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.